I'm Anna, and today I'm going to talk about my top 10 books of the year. They are not necessarily in a ranking, but they're just my favorite books from 2020. First one is The B-Side. This is a male-male romance that includes a lot of music in it. So basically there's a group of friends who start a band, and the lead singer and main composer of the band is supposed to be heterosexual, but he meets this guy on tour as a roadie, and something springs between them. I cannot tell you the whole story, but trust me, I do recommend it. It's such a cute story, very beautiful, hard also. There are many things happening, like there's an accident at some point, the band stops, and well, they spend many years not knowing anything about each other. But I found this story heartwarming. The love story, the romance is beautiful. There's a lot of music, and I'm a musician too, so I was in for it. And trust me, I sat down and had to finish it. I couldn't stop myself. So I highly recommend The B-Side. It actually has, I think, a 5-star rating on Goodreads. So it's a very cute young adult contemporary story. And it is by Brittany Colleen Pratt. What became my favorite middle grade of all times, Tilly and the Book Wanderers. Tilly is a girl who belongs to a family that has a very special ability, and it is that they can book wander, which means that they can interact with the characters of books, either out of them or get into the books with these characters and really leave this story. They have to be careful, of course, not to change the story much. She's an orphan because her father is supposed to be dead and her mom disappeared in strange circumstances, like no one got to know anything about her, like disappeared out of the blue. So she lives with her grandparents who have a bookstore, and one day she discovers her grandfather belongs to a special bookish society. I highly recommend it. It's a book full of adventure, life, discoveries. It's just who doesn't like a book about books? And it's so beautifully told. Everybody should read this book by Anna James. Then What Like Me by Tim Wise. What Like Me is a non-fiction about racism and the history of racism in the United States. Basically, there was something that stuck out for me from the whole book. There were two comments that I found eye-opening. One was that racism is thinking there's something wrong with the other person just because they're different, that difference is making them inferior or bad in some way. And then the second one is a conversation he has with his daughter. Sorry. Hi, Sirius. Come be on the video. Come. Yes. Sorry for the move. Hi. I'm the most beautiful cat ever. And I like the chocolate. Oi. He talks all day. Let's get back into topic. And then in this conversation, at some point there's the thing like, but God is white, and he goes like, why? The strongest anthropological theory states that humanity highly likely started being black. If God made humanity, then what color should God be? And she goes like, oh, black then. So like, I don't have supernatural beliefs, but I found it a wonderful way to explain it to a child. And the great thing is that Tim Wise is a Jew that grew up going to a mainly black school. So his parents were intelligent enough to get him into diversity quite early in life, so he would learn to respect and interact with every different person and show him that different doesn't make you better or worse. You're just different. Then there was a surprise. I had several books. I decided to pair two of them just because I had to put this one in. I have to squeeze it in. And it is One Day in December by Josie Silva. I finished it today, started it on Steph's 24 hours festive readathon, and this week Steph from Steph Loves also organized a readathon that will last the whole week. Now, thank you, Steph, for making this our book pick of the month for December, because I cried my eyes out. I don't know if you can see, but my eyes are swollen, and it's because I cried my eyes out today. I mean, this book got to me in ways you have no idea. Josie did a great job because you have no idea what's going to happen with the story until the very end. You never know what the outcome is going to be. You think it's going to be this one, then that one, then this one again. I mean, you never know. So you're all the time nervous at some point if you connect with the characters. I mean, I find it impossible not to connect with any of them. This is too beautiful. It's the story of two friends, Laurie and Sarah. Laurie is one day quite tired of her life on a bus, and she sees guy through the window on the bus stop. They look at each other and they instantly fall in love. But when he decides to get into the bus is already on its way, so it's too late. Then she starts looking for him everywhere, and at some point she finds him. I don't want to say why, at least on this video. I think I said a bit too much on the beginning of my vlog that will come out on Sunday, hopefully. But yeah, the thing is that this is just stunning. It's not only her love story, it's also her best friend's love stories, but it's just incredible. Highly recommended. This was no doubt 5-star read from me. We have Días Sin Ti, which is Days Without You by a Spanish writer called Elvira Sastre. This book, wow, it is a fiction which somehow talks about topics like the civil war in Spain, but I just have no words. It's the whole mourning process of a man because he lost his partner, and is the whole story from beginning to end. It starts on the first day he's not with her. And the thing is that he goes back to his grandmother's teachings, who died recently, and remembers whatever she told him, and her teachings and her life stories with his grandfather to help him overcome that breakup and get out of the mourning, of the grieving process. And it's just so beautifully told. Teachings are incredible. Sometimes I had to read a couple of chapters, stop to process the information, go back to it, and so on and so forth constantly. I couldn't read it in one go, even though it's 200 and something pages, but it was, whoa, one of the most beautifully told books I've ever read. Cicatriz, which is Scar, and Loba Negra, which is Black Wolf. This is the second one in the Red Queen trilogy by Juan Gomez Jurado, all of them. I put them in one go because it's just I read both of them this year, but both are by him, so yes. This, as I said in a previous video, is my favorite thriller ever. I had so much fun. There are many funny remarks. I don't annotate every book, but you can see this one. So, yeah, reflections. It's deep, characters are perfectly rounded, you feel involved by the atmosphere of what's happening, the way the stories are intertwined. Basically, it's the story of Antonia, who's, I would say, the most intelligent person in the world. She has a very gifted mind, and she's recruited, and her mind transformed somehow, like trained. But that training has consequences, and it's that she must, to keep a stable mind, she must have one of two pills, a red one or a blue one. I'm not going to tell you what they do, but the thing is that she becomes a private investigator, and she's helped by the cutest, funniest character, together with Fermin in The Shadow of the Wind. And their story and how they solve the crimes, who the killer is at the end of the day is not really unveiled, and it will be in the third book. It's already out. It's called Wide King, but we still don't know anything. And Cicatriz Scar is the side story of a very, very important character in this series. So I believe it's essential. I mean, to understand this series completely, it's essential to know that story. Missing El Paciente, which is a patient, which I'm planning to read as soon as possible, probably in January. And from Scar, I listened to the audiobook. If you speak Spanish, trust me, you have to listen to this. Narrator is just amazing. It's totally worth it. Then we have My Brother's Husband. This is a manga in 2 volumes. And it's the story of Jaichi, Kana, and Mike. Mike is a Canadian who married a Japanese guy who was Jaichi's twin. And then Jaichi has an issue because he's homophobic. And Kana teaches his father through her natural behavior towards others what love is, and that has nothing to do with a person being good or bad or acceptable, and that we should just stand up for those we love. It's a very, very beautiful and heartwarming story. This is volume 1. Sorry. I'm sorry, I'm used to holding books the other way. This is volume 1, and volume 2 was one I had to read on ebook, but I already know where I can get it, so I'll get volume 2 physically soon because I really want to keep these on my shelves. Then The Death of Vivek Oji. Wow. This is the story of a trans woman and her coming of age story, and her love towards her cousin, and basically the treatment she receives because of the culture, how she's stigmatized, and even her parents have no idea she's a trans girl because she knows she will cause them pain. They wouldn't understand why that's okay. She just tells a group of friends who keep her secret, but there's like, I'm not spoiling anything here. The first thing that happens is that it tells you that she died, but then it's the whole story of why, how, her coming of age story is telling you everything, her feelings. Is heartwarming, but very difficult to read at the same time because there's grief, loss of a loved one, trigger warnings for that, stigmatization of trans people. But I started and couldn't stop. It's one of these books I was not expecting to be so amazing, and I was accepted in NetGalley, and I just couldn't believe, because Messi had written Pet, which was another one of my favorite books from the year, but I'd only 10, but I have to mention it. I also have to mention, by the way, Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is becoming like 15 favorite books of the year. This book is the story of Monday and her best friend Claudia. Monday disappears one day, nobody knows anything about her, and Claudia decides she has to find her best friend and find out what happened to her. She starts this ordeal, asks everyone, interrogates, tries to go to her house. Her best friend's mom kicks her out. It's quite hard for her, and there are, oh my gosh, incredible plot twists. It's hard, dealing with child neglect, child abuse, loss of a loved one, mental health issues. I mean, there's a lot to deal with in here, but it's just amazing. I was so surprised, positively surprised. I cannot wait to read more from Tiffany. Then it's Circe by Madeleine Miller. This is a retelling of Circe's story. This is a Greek mythological story, and it's a version focused on female independence and empowerment. And I love the funny remarks, sense of humor, great. The writing style was perfect for me. How she explains why Circe transformed men into pigs. Well, I'm saying this because it is well known. If you didn't know the mythological part, I'd recommend you to find out what the story is so you enjoy the retelling even more. I absolutely loved the ending, and I just cannot recommend it enough. It's also so atmospheric, gets you bugged, but it somehow takes it to more modern times, but keeps it within the way the Greek gods worked. And lastly, The Lunar Chronicles. I read these with Steph from Steph Loves. We started, I believe it was at the beginning of the year, and we were going to read one book per month, but we couldn't stop ourselves. We went back to back the whole series. This is the third one, I believe, fourth. Fourth. We have Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, Stars Above, and Winter. And I found it an extremely creative way to tell the stories of the princesses from Disney. Cinder is about Cinderella, Scarlet is about Red Hood, Cress is about Rapunzel, and Winter is about Snow White. And basically it's a whole huge story in which all princesses are connected together through the queen. It's the same one evil queen. But then it's a sci-fi because Cinder is a cyborg and Scarlet is quite a badass. Rapunzel is... you'll have to read it. But we even have the wolf. And trust me, I'm completely in love with wolf. I don't know if you agree with me, if you don't, if you will get to agree once you have read the series, but I love him more every minute. Those are my top picks of the year. I hope you enjoyed these. Please let me know if you've read them, what you thought about them, which were your top books, so I can get book recommendations from you. And I hope you're having a beautiful December, even though we're having, these things pandemic has brought, but I'm sure you can make the best of it. Hope you're having fun, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow on my next Bookmas video. Bye!